You do know that that Black Myth Wuhan Wukong video game is out? Yeah, I do, but it's 70 quid and digital only. Can you stop mucking about now? This is the Wulong PlayStation 5 video review from Couch Coop. I looked at this game extensively over on PC and it featured in my top Souls-likes of all time list. The AI is brilliant, by the way. Let me just tell you a little bit about what happened with my initial look at the game. Because I was running it on a medium PC, I wasn't prepared to put it down to 720p and have 60 frames per second. I went with this median option. It was between 30 and 45. It sort of fluctuated. I never really felt comfortable with it. So I wanted to immediately test how it performs on the PlayStation 5. And I went to quality mode straight away, which is supposed to be 30 frames and a 4K resolution. And it just doesn't work. It's too action heavy and sparkly, this game, to be able to sort of run its quality mode with any confidence. A little bit annoying. Same things going on with the Rise of the Ronin at the moment. Hopefully we'll see some patches, but this one, over a year old, March 2023. There was quite a lot of work done to it in the first couple of months of launch, but the good news is that performance at 60 frames, the 1080, it is mint. It's the way to play the game, and that's why I've put this video together. It's a massive step. When I fired this game up for the top Souls-like video, I did not have a clue what I was doing. With some of these games, if you walk away from them for a couple of months, the muscle memory goes, all the little nuances of the movesets are just lost, and I couldn't even get a parry. Confessions, you'll see the video footage. I had to pull it from way back when I initially started the game on Game Pass, so it was a really cool opportunity to go from the beginning, just build the character from the ground up again and really see where this game performs and where it doesn't. And on that performance mode, it's jaw-dropping. It's one of the fastest, flashiest third-person ARPGs I own, and I'm a big Stellar Blade fan. Are we getting giant chimp fight fatigued? Because they are in every single one of them, right? The twin apes in Sekiro still haunt my nightmares. I also had to Indiana Jones one-shot that guy because the music on that boss fight is just horrendous, and that's one of the strange things about the game. It's heaven or hell with the music. I'm going to show you a section at the end of the video where it all slides in. Its speed, the companions, the moves, and some of this outlandish crazy magic, which does feel a little bit OP early doors. Let me try and explain Wulong's angle with what it's offering as a Souls-like. It is in the footsteps of the Nier 1 and 2 games, and it does have some connective tissue with the Rise of the Ronin, but one of its main selling points is it doesn't really want you to use that L1 or that key replenish. None of that's in here. All about circle and a direction. So that's also a block and deflect. It's kind of win-win if you're always using the circle button to get out of the way, because it also counters the big red move, and if you get it right, it results in a massive opening on the enemy. So you're sliding around and deflecting in different directions as opposed to looking for that timed parry or clang. I also got this unhealthy disdain for the NPC helping characters. I felt they got in the way, they killed everything. I couldn't train myself on some of those time dodges because they would just end or interrupt an enemy, but they are so needed towards mid and end game, and they're excellent on their leveling system and how you get to choose them all from the little camps. And that's the other change, is the game is really about exploration and leveling up that number you see in the center of the screen just above the health. This needs to marry up with the boss at the end of that section of map, so you're pushed to explore and find different bonfires within any section that you're given. The companion thing has kind of grown on me. They do have personalities and different builds and different element types. You can pick ones out to go to boss fights with you that would really exploit a weakness within that particular enemy. And you've also got a non-expendable set of opportunities to bring them into fights. You could burn through that. It's a little bit like the summoning rewards that you would see on any other Souls. Like, that number is fixed unless you look for those, I think they're called tiger tokens. They're not. Let's talk about that magic and that range to a certain extent. It overwhelmed me when I was first going through this game. I just thought it was too much, it was too complicated. There's like 5 different elements and they've all got their own skill trees. They're over there on the R2, and I was having enough stress with the R1 moves, which are linked to the weapons in your actual hands, which can also produce a projectile. It's crazy if you want to start building a character that revolves around range, and it also handles throwing knives, poison throwing knives, bolts and bow and arrows. Have not seen a combustible weapon yet, which is pretty cool, to be fair. But on that magic subject, you sort of settle into it. You try a few out. Some of them you prefer. Certain bosses are majorly weak to elements, so you need to level some up and then switch them in and out prior to the fights. Just back to that deflect thing and that circle button, there is no technical stamina meter for the amount of times that you do that. You can be constantly getting in and out of the way, and there is a twang reward in the form of a blue meter on your side of things. And that's another thing I wasn't spotting. The enemies do have a stamina bar technically that leads towards a stagger and a big opening, so chipping away is definitely the way forward also. Enemies that kill you also rank up a number, so when you go back to retrieve some of your lost currency or souls, there'll be a little bit of a challenge there to retrieve that. It's quite similar to that vendetta system that's over on the Rise of Ronin. Importantly, you don't lose everything on death when it comes to what you spend on ranking up, and that's a pretty cool aspect and quite forgiving for KT and Team Ninja when it comes to their Souls-likes. There's also the obligatory mock invasion from another player with the highlighted skin on them, which just gives me PTSD from Bloodborne and Dark Souls 1 and 2. Some randoms come in and it's going to ruin your day, and there's nothing you can do about it. Thankfully, this is all offline and just a bit of fun.
Lord-sama! Lord-sama!
山に妖魔が現れてね。老子が調べに向かったよ。
ありがとう。
What about that story? What about that story? It's got hot girls, samurai swords, sorcery and monsters in it. What a ridiculous question. Next, haven't spoken about weapon differential. So it doesn't have a stance system like Nier 1 or 2 or even Rise of the Ronin. This is just a set class, but you do have up to 7 different actual weapon variants. Now these also have the R1 moves attached to them that I was talking about earlier. There's hard and fast different classes, there's dual wielded stuff, there's huge pikes. It's excellent finding the new weapon loot. However, the armor and some of the helmets and samurai gear not impressing me, unfortunately. Generally thought there was going to be a lot more of it, but these long range weapons, these big poles, staffs, there's a javelin, that's impressive. Because of this slide and deflect system, you end up getting multiple parries in a row, but they're technically not guards, they're more avoidance, but they open up such massive opportunities, and sometimes they come in with such speed. When you get your head around dealing with them, It does actually make you feel like this. I did want to cover that the game comes with a double jump as standard. This is a little bit like Jedi Survivor. It gives you some height coming down on an enemy, and it does concentrate on that downward slash. Some Souls-likes completely avoid it, but this is all about triangle, big strong move, feels like Devil May Cry. It's always been a classic for me in any third-person ARPG hack and slash. The individually tailored cutscenes to all of the parries that you get from the red mark move on every single different enemy, and that also blends with what weapon you're carrying at the time. It's endless different variables, and it really keeps you interested, particularly switching stuff out or even going to the blacksmith and leveling something that you really enjoy. Completely forgot to mention that you do get a chance to upgrade a favorite weapon, not the armor unfortunately. I was too harsh on this game, way too harsh. It feels really refreshing over on the PlayStation 5, and against my calendar at the moment with a lot of the Souls-likes from that list that I'm still playing, Stellar Blade included, and the Rise of Ronin, even though that's technically open world, this is staying on my calendar. I love it. Physical PlayStation 5, it is not expensive either. We may even see some more support for it. It is part of what I'm calling the KT or Team Ninja set, and that includes Wild Heart, Rise of the Ronin, and of course this, Wulong, A Fallen Destiny. You've got a Monster Hunter clone, a great Souls-like, and an absolutely epic open world game in there. Thoroughly recommend having all three of them on physical for your PlayStation 5. So a little bit like Nier 1 and 2 with its mission selection system, you can go after sub-bosses within different levels that you open up from progressing through the game. And I found this dude in this pit. This is the section I'm talking about where everything came together. It was really amazing. What would also be amazing is a like and a sub and a comment about how terribly edited this whole video was. My name was Couch Coop. I will see you down there.
Say a